What's up, everybody? It is Wordplay Queen, and I am coming to you all with a message today. Um, I have a message. Excuse me, y'all. I just woke up, so grand rising. But I have a message about history, and I kind of been wanting to do a video about history for a minute. But I was like being very technical about it, like, oh my gosh, I got to get my notes together. I got to know exactly what facts to tell people. Some people aren't trying to fact check me and stuff like that. But, I'm just going to come to y'all from my heart real quick about history and how essential and important it is to understand history in order to gain a clear perspective and really exercise your skills of discernment and your intuition. If you don't understand, like, for instance, example, the country that you're in or the history that brought your country about, how are you going to really understand what's happening today? You can't, for real. Like, you can see what's going on and stuff, but you can't really grasp a full understanding, especially if you understand that it's not right what's going on. Like, it's an agenda. Like, it's something going on behind the scenes. Like, you feel it. So if you feel that, it's important that you begin to look into history and figure out, like, what the heck's been going on. In the conspiracy world right now, there's a lot of talk about the Nibiru planet, Nibiru, I believe it's spelled Nibiru. And this is something that is supposedly, allegedly being seen all around the world. I found many videos where people are seeing 2 or 3 suns in the sky. The sun is going to be like southwest when it sets. It sets in the west and rises in the east. So the moon is in the east when it starts getting dark. Anyways, whatever time of day, whether it be early in the morning or late at night, people are beginning to see revelations in the sky. Whether it's 2 suns, whether it's a spacecraft, whether it's, whatever the case may be. And it could still be people out there who do not believe in extraterrestrials or that there is life on other planets or that the galaxy only includes us as the living beings. But I'm here to tell you, if you're one of the people that believes what your government says, well, NASA came out and said that we're not alone. Even though history, as I've been diving deep into history has always proved that we're not alone. One of the oldest texts, and this information predates 450,000 years. There's nothing that is older really than this. So the Sumerians, if you've never heard of the Sumerians, the Sumerian language, the Sumerian culture, you should really go look it up. The Sumerian people and that entire era, they wrote on 150 stone tablets about not Nibiru, however you pronounce that word, y'all, that second sun, the false sun, the one that we look up in the sky and think is our sun is not our sun. So they wrote about this stuff a long time ago, and they wrote about the people called the Anunnaki. I don't know, like, when you're in tune with your spirit, I'm just gonna start off right here. When you're in tune with your spirit, or you begin to be in tune with your spirit, when you come across information, you're going to begin to understand how to tell when it's the truth. Okay? But learning about history helps you be able to come up with a better conclusion. Like, if I meet somebody and they're experiencing PTSD and they're very, upset, I can assume that I know why they're upset. I can just help them from that point on and not ask why they're upset. But the best thing that I could do is learn their history so that we can heal what is upsetting them. So this is the same concept when it comes to fixing or understanding what's going on today. You have to learn about what happened to bring us to today. So the Anunnaki are a people, a god, a deity of people that came from the sky, and from the Neanderthal they created people as we know it, us, supposedly. I'm not necessarily sure, but they said, like in the Bible, that they made us in their image. And if you look at what a Sumerian looks like, and let me not a Sumerian, but what an Anunnaki looks like. Let me tell you something about the Anunnaki. They came here to mine gold. They came here for the resources of this planet. So now this might upset some people, but I don't necessarily know quite yet. I just know that there is some truth to this. Now the fine-tuned details, that I'm not sure of, because they're said to have came and they were getting the resources from this planet, but then they were like, hell, there's prehistoric man, the Neanderthal, they're here, why don't we make them do it for us and just make a whole, like they made a whole big experiment about it. It's documented in the Sumerian tablets how they did like gene splicing and shit. And so basically they came up with the human, and the human began to do their slave work. And the human, which they made in their image, they kind of look like all black people. Like they kind of look like Africans. When you go look up Anunnaki and look up like their depictions and what they're said to look like, they kind of look like black people. So I don't know what to take from that, but I do know that if that is the case, then everything that we've been told about creation has been a lie. And they've had these documents. They've knew about the Sumerians and the Anunnaki. This has been documented, and it's not disputable. Like, it's just a historical fact. We have nobody from the Sumerian era to tell us whether or not what they really meant, but from translation, it's pretty black and white. People from the sky came down and created other people. It's like not that confusing, and it's hard to believe, I guess, but once you start to like open your spirit up, like I mentioned, you'll understand what the truth of things are. So that happened, and now we have people, and the people that they created supposedly, I'm assuming, is black people. I'm just assuming right here, because if you made them in your image and y'all look like black people, I'm trying to think that you probably made black people. But it's hard to think that we came from Neanderthals. So I'm going to have to get back to y'all on that. So what I was saying to say that is that it's a lot of stuff moving and going on right now. And if you don't understand what was going on even way back then, it could be hard to really grasp the significance of what's going on right now. So I just do a lot of studying. I dive very deep into stuff. Like, that's how I knew that this pandemic was not really a pandemic. You can go look at how they were having meetings about how to handle this. Bill Gates wrote an entire essay about how to deal with this before it even happened. So that sounds like a plan. When you develop a process before it happens, that is a plan, like to the literal definition. So none of this stuff is happening by accident. This is not whatever they tried to call it, where a disease come from an animal. No, like, it's a lot of stuff where it's almost like they're undermining your intelligence, like they're insulting your intelligence, like you don't have the power to go look things up and to go research. You do, but through all the programming and the training they've been doing all these years, they have the faith that you won't go investigate, that you won't go try to look into why everywhere in all the states right now it's hardly any sunshine, and like it doesn't concern you what they're trying to hide in the sky. And I'm not necessarily saying that there's anything up there, but everything should have a question mark behind it. Nothing should just be readily accepted. So I just say all this to say it's important to study history. It's important to grasp what's been going on, because a lot of this stuff that's going on, like even yesterday, the NBA, they dressed up as that judge who was an evil, heinous woman, and they dressed up as her probably to pay tribute to her death. It's like no it's like no limit is what I want to say to the elite and the people on top who run everything. It's like no limit to the things that they'll do and how they try to discredit like people. Like we're not able to pay attention and keep notes and reference dates and understand numerology. Numerology and astrology is something that I highly suggest everybody start studying, because that is what dictated our world a long time ago. Not even that long ago. Like, the concept of time was given to us by the Anunnaki to keep us slaves. I don't know. I don't want to say us. I'm not necessarily sure. But the concept of time itself is for slavery. It's for you to feel like you only have enough time to do the things that they've dictated to be important in your life, which if you're living in this country is working and paying your taxes and being freaking unhappy and a whole bunch of other stuff, unhealthy, your health is bad, the education is bad. That's what it's about here, when really having a human experience should be about living in abundance, having freedom, having love, having a family, having everything you desire. Like, that's what this is about. And I feel like I'm a light messenger out here, because I just want to uplift people to understand that this stuff has been playing out for a long time. They're not hiding anything. Like, if you want to look up information and you want to know the history behind stuff, you can. I feel like it's been a lot of times in history, you can feel how you want to feel about religion, but once you start to, it's hard to unpack it all on one video, but once you start to go through and look at history, you're going to see that there has been people who have been trying to come and show us the way for a long time. Whether that be Jesus, the Prophet Muhammad, which I've been studying Islam religion, and that's interesting. You might want to know that the Hajj is something that Muslims take, or have to take, a pilgrimage that they take in their lives, and they have to go to this black box in Mecca and circle it 7 times and pray to it and kiss a stone that magically popped up on the box years after it was made. Like, it's crazy. It starts to get very extraterrestrial, and I'm not saying everything is linked to something outside of this planet, but this planet is not the only planet. We are very low intelligence compared to what is out there. So I reference out there a lot because it's a lot to be referenced out there. Where do you think the concept of the internet came from? The internet. Think about it. Where do you think that came from? The concept of the internet, not the computer, not the phone, not the telephone, the internet itself. Where do you think that came from? How you think we got in space in the first place? Like, how you think the pyramids was built? The Stonehenge, anything that cannot be explained. How are you explaining it for yourself? How are you diving deep? Are you diving deep? Do you think that this stuff doesn't matter? When they say when the end time comes, y'all, that everybody can't go, I don't care if you believe it's that 144,000. That's a very select few. That's what's in Revelations. But if you understand that everybody can't go, why wouldn't you want to be figuring out what's going on? Why wouldn't you want to be elevating yourself? Why wouldn't you almost feel like you need to? Because if everybody can't go, don't you mean that only a select few are going to be chosen? I want you to be one of those chosen people. I don't want you to get left behind in a version of hell. Like, we think heaven and hell are these things after we die, but if you're spiritually dead, you can be living in hell right now. It could be in your reality. So I want us all to make it to that place, because December is coming up, and I don't know, I ain't no fortune teller, but I definitely feel stuff within my spirit, and I know that they're not done with this yet, y'all. In the UK, they made a rule where you can't have more than 6 people in your house. Like, you can't have more than 6 people in a business. They call it the rule of 6. Look it up. It's really, and that's the UK. Now, also look up what's going on in Australia. Also look up what's going on in China. Also look up what's going on in all of their Iraq, Iran, everywhere right now. We have a freer way of thinking here in America, so they can't move like that with us here. We've been having democracy for too long. They got to do it a little bit sneakier to make us feel like, because we think we know what's going on, but we really don't. It is imperative that you do research to gain full context about what's going on right now in this world that is really run by, I don't even think, humans. The more I study, y'all can call me crazy, a conspiracy theorist, or whatever label. I don't like labels. If you watched my last video, I'm not with the labeling. So I transcend labels. So you can call me whatever you want to, but once you begin to study, and if you would like links or a direction to start and go as far as looking up history and just gaining better understanding of what could possibly be going on in the reality that you're in, just let me know and I'll help you as best I can. Give you all the information I know. I'm very obsessive. I bookmark everything, so I have everything ready to go on my hip, ready to shoot off. So if you want to know more and dive deep with me, just let me know. But yeah, history is extremely important to understand. It's important to understand because it gives you perspective. Without perspective, you can't have true understanding of anything, because you're just looking at it from your view. Your view is not accurate. The way you see things is not accurate. You're in a literal matrix. You've been programmed since the day you were born. You've been shot up with metals and animal flesh since you were born. To get all of that out your cells and have your spirit working at a high functioning capacity, you would have to do so much training and so much work and so much studying. That's why I say it's important to always remain studious and know that you have more to learn. You have to learn, unlearn, relearn constantly. And you cannot think that what you know is fact unless it's resonated with your spirit. If it's just been given to you your whole life and you never questioned it, don't call that fact. Do not be referencing that up and giving that to other people. That's probably not even the truth. So yep, I just came to you all with a message about history today and how important history is. If I was you, I'd dive deep into the Anunnaki and just learn a little bit about them and what place they had in history and the credit that historians and scientists give them. That should give you the credibility that you want, because they absolutely, I'm not really seeing nobody, and these people with degrees disagree with the Sumerian tablets. So you all can look into that and just see how that resonates with you. Pay attention to the weather, pay attention to politics, pay attention to the stuff that they say and the stuff that they repeatedly say. Just pay attention. It's gonna start getting real funny to you. You're gonna start thinking you even took the red pill, I'm telling you. So thank you for sitting in with me. If you like this message, please share, please comment so I can hear your thoughts. How do you feel about history and what have you been learning on this journey in 2020? Because we've had too much time to reflect and study. So I'd love to know if you learned any fun, cool, scary things. I'm all into any kind of conspiracy theories. I don't like the word, but I don't have no other label for it. I'm all into that. So just hit me up. Thank you for listening. Peace, love, and light, family.